Well, we might make a start. I've been told to tell you all to please put your headphones on. It makes it much easier to hear the presentation today. It's so nice to have such a full house. Thank you for coming. My name is Laura Watson. I'm a Customer Success Director at Optimizely, and it's my role to work with our customers to make sure that they see value out of the solutions and technology that they have with us. If you don't know who Optimizely is, we are a digital experience platform, and we're very proud to work with many of the best brands. And today we're going to be talking about how you can reimagine how you run marketing campaigns. All of the vendors do bragging when we come to these events. We're very proud to be recognised as a leader across several product categories. I believe the number is actually now 11. I was corrected this morning. So a full suite of market-leading solutions. But let's talk about marketing campaigns. There's really three beliefs that drive us and how we view marketing. And the most important one that I want to focus on today is that content should be at the heart of every digital experience, of every campaign that we run. That's our bedrock. But we also recognise that the channels that we're being asked to deliver those experiences out via has continuously exploded. And that has naturally led to specialisation in the marketing function. So if we look at the process for getting content out the door, we've got this initial content production phase, and you can see the different teams: content creation, review cycle. When we get into the content delivery phase, we've got our publishing and distribution teams. But it's very natural for these teams to operate in silos. Birds of a feather flock together. I sound like my mum, but it's true. Beyond the point of publication, we move into the always-on content optimization. And this is an entirely separate team, or set of teams. You know, we've got all the different flavors of personalization, web experimentation if you've got a team running A/B tests, right before you get to analytics and reporting. But as marketers, how often are we actually engaging with different parts of that process? How often are we going to our analytics teams and our reporting teams to try and gather insights to inform how we run our next campaign? It's not happening nearly enough. And one of the ways that we've tried to solve for that is with more technology. The latest MarTech map indicates that there's between 16 and 17,000 pieces of technology available to marketers. But when we're operating in silos, the technology ends up in silos too. We lack integrations, we lack collaboration, and you know, it can be really hard to get ideas, to get a single view of customer when all of our data is spread across these different tools. So if we think about a typical process, you know, imagine that you are a marketing leader, or your CMO is here at the conference today. Conferences are great for finding new ideas, or maybe it's a case that you saw something that a competitor's doing, and of course, we should be doing that too. So a marketing leader might kick off the process by flicking an email to a marketing and campaign planning team. They'll then include other content creators, content writers, perhaps some designers. Then legal needs to get involved. There's reviews that have to take place for us to get these things out the door. Maybe then we loop in a digital coordinator, and it's usually one of those two teams who'll find a problem with something that we've done and kick it back a few steps, or, you know, worst case, we'll start the process again. But let's say we're lucky and things progress. Then we need to get our web teams, our web developers, there might be other downstream marketers getting involved. And then we need to personalize, because everybody has to personalize everything. That's what customers expect. If we're running experiments, we're doing A/B testing, there's even more people that need to get involved, and you see how convoluted and complex this process gets. Before, right at the end, we're able to get data about the effectiveness of that campaign. But because of how long and convoluted this process was, that can take 3 months. So there's got to be a better way. The process that I've outlined might be scalable if you've got 1 to 2 teams, you've got small teams, you're shipping out just a couple of campaigns at a time. But what happens when we take that global? When we've got disparate teams, localization by region, translations, we're getting 10 or 20 campaigns out the door at a given time, that process becomes unsustainable very, very quickly. And there's 3 problems that really come as a result of that. We're not collaborating. When teams and tools are siloed, there's a real lack of visibility, and we're not able to track what everybody's working on. When data and teams are working in disparate systems, it's really hard to get a full view of the customer. So inevitably, we end up making decisions based on partial data, or worse, no data at all. And that decision, those arbitrary decisions, are often made by the hippo. Quick show of hands, who knows who I mean by the hippo? 1. The hippo is the highest paid person's opinion, right? That is senior leadership. And they're often, changing what we're doing or pushing things to one side because they don't like something. And if we don't have a full view of the customer, if we don't have data to back up our approach, it's really hard to fight for our corner. Finally, impact. All of those inefficient processes, all of those inconsistent practices make it really hard for us to get any kind of velocity with testing out the door. So there's got to be a better way. How do we reimagine how we run marketing campaigns? A good place to start is by moving away from thinking of marketing as multiple siloed processes and thinking of it as one integrated process for production, delivery, and optimization. We need one place for teams to plan, deliver, collaborate, and store the assets and the digital experiences that we're working on. One place that we can then translate and push those experiences out onto multiple campaigns. And finally, leveraging the personalization and experimentation in an efficient way to then inform that process starting again. And that we're leveraging AI at every step of the process to help us become more efficient. We're going to take a look at how Optimizely has done this within our own marketing team in a little bit, but I work with customers, and there are 3 things that I see customers who have done this, made this transition successfully, do. Start by defining your process. I met a new customer a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about their marketing team, their, the way that they work, and I asked them about their marketing process. And the campaign manager said to me, "What process?" So if you are going back to your offices later today or tomorrow, it's a really useful exercise to throw some post-it notes up on a wall. Try and define all of the different stages of your production process. Define the workflows, the teams that need to be involved, all of the different stages. Because if we haven't defined the process and the problem, then we're going to find it really challenging to find a solution. We've also got to bring people along. We need to move away from that siloed, insular team focus to a more integrated team of teams. And I'll explain what I mean about that in just a moment. And finally, integrated technology. It kind of goes without saying, but when everything is everywhere, we're kind of nowhere. It's really hard to identify the bottlenecks and to progress things with any kind of efficiency. So how did Optimizely do this in our own marketing organisation? I mentioned that Optimizely started out as a Swedish content management system. And about 5 years ago, we started acquiring different businesses to build out the full suite of technology that we offer today. The great thing when we acquired those businesses was that we retained a lot of the talent from those teams, from product, from marketing, but it meant that we had one go-to-market team for Optimizely, our web experimentation capability, We had one go-to-market team for Episerver's CMS. We had one go-to-market team for Welcome, which is the tool that we now call our content marketing platform. So we were the definition of working in silos. There would be so many times when you'd be working on a PowerPoint for a particular thing, and then you'd find out that it existed somewhere else, or that somebody else was working on redoing that. So lots of duplicated effort. And a disconnected tech stack. All of those marketing teams from those individual brands that got acquired came with their own set of tools. So again, really disconnected, really hard to get a full view of our operations. We needed to move from these siloed teams into a more integrated, networked team of teams. If you've got time, I'd actually really encourage you to explore the concept of a team of teams. It's not something that I created or that Optimizely came up with. There's a book by a retired Army general from the US called Team of Teams. And in it, he talks about how he changed the structure of the US Army's operations to help them win in the war in Iraq. Somebody made a joke that I should have made that an affiliate link and make some money off of this presentation. It's not, it's just an Amazon QR code. But there are a few key attributes of teams. When everyone's got access to see what people are planning and collaborating, there's a level of trust. We develop a shared consciousness as an organization. When we've got that level of visibility, we're able to make faster, more efficient decisions. Right? We're not making decisions in silos anymore because other people have come along for the journey. And finally, we're able to be more agile as a business because we can make those decisions at pace. So we took this very fragmented approach to processes and technology and people, and we turned it into this. One unified process for managing how we plan and collaborate on marketing campaigns, for how we produce and distribute, how we personalize, experiment, and finally analyze that data to create this self-feeding ecosystem. And that's the foundation for our technology strategy. Optimizely One is the world's first operating system for marketing. I promise that's the last bit about our products, I promise. So how do we actually do this? Well, initially, we tried to take all of the processes that came with those different businesses and shoehorn them into one. Became very obvious very quickly that wasn't going to work. The whole process of redefining our marketing operations took between 6 to 9 months. But we were actually planning the biggest event in our marketing calendar at the same time. Every year we run a conference called Opticon. The London edition is in 2 weeks. It's free to attend. If you want a spot, come and chat to us afterwards. But we were trying to plan Opticon at the same time as going through this transition. It was a mess. We were massively over budget. We didn't have the right messaging. Speakers were changing. Content and presentations for main stage were changing the day before the event. The struggle was definitely real. And there was a feeling that, for some people, that event didn't land. And so our CMO decided he was going to change the way that we did things. We were going to simplify the structure for our marketing operations, and this is the structure that we use today. Brand, broken down into 4 big bets. They make up our integrated marketing campaigns, and from there, we've got all of our content and actual marketing activities. So this is a view of our actual go-to-market strategy for the last year. If you go on our LinkedIn page, it says Optimizely, move fast and make things. From there, we've got our big bets. We break down our campaigns further, and then there's the events and other things that we need to run throughout the year. So what does that actually look like for marketers? The good thing is you don't actually have to be a marketer to get a view of this, because I'm in customer success. The entire organization can see what marketing is running on. This is 1 week's view of our editorial calendar. And if I zoom into one of those big bets, one of those major campaigns, I can see all of the initiatives that we're running to deliver on that. I can see who's working on what, I can see how long it's meant to take them, and at a glance, whether or not we're on track. We can also collaborate and push assets through approval workflows within the same platform. So in this example, we were working on an LED banner for Opticon last year. There's also an integrated digital asset library because it doesn't make sense for assets to live outside of the place where we're working on them. And finally, being able to structure content once and then push it out via socials, email, to the website or to an app. So how did we do? Well, people are pretty happy because I said Opticon was over budget that year. Now we're spending around 30% less than we did. If you go on our website, you'll be in one of 50 experiments or personalised experiences. We're able to ship more than 200 campaigns out the door, and we've been able to halve our cost per MQL. We're also in the business of selling multiple products to our customers, and we've been able to increase our revenue with multi-product customers by around 25%. So it just goes to show the impact that centralising marketing operations and that single view of the customer, the process and the people can have. That was everything I wanted to run you through today. Thank you so much for your time. Please feel free to connect with me and have a great rest of your conference.